Hi everyone, and thank you very much for joining me today. My name is Samuel, and I am the designer behind DreamWeavers. I'm very excited to do this how to play video. Keep in mind this is still a prototype, so things can still change. That means if you have any feedback or comments, please reach out to us via any of our social media platforms. We can also set up a play session with you. With that said, let's jump into the dream realm. DreamWeavers are the architects of the unconscious mind, creating dreams under the supervision of Morpheus, the god of the dream realm. These dreams take place in the mind of our sleeping subjects, such as Dogmeat here. A subject can be any living being with a conscious mind. Dreams are crafted in the subject's unconsciousness. That's where the role of the DreamWeavers comes in. Now, it wasn't always like so. Morpheus didn't always need help or have any. A long time ago, they were alone. Morpheus would create the dream for all beings on Earth. With time, the population on Earth grew and they could no longer handle the load. At first, Morpheus recruited anyone who wanted to create dreams, but to no avail. Morpheus realized they needed a specific kind of individual. Beings with imagination and ingenuity. Beings with these qualities entered into a friendly competition in the hopes of joining Morpheus's side in the dream realm. And that is where you, the player, come in. You will be part of a new wave of recruits who will be pinned up against an opposing team in the effort of becoming DreamWeavers. To begin, players separate into two teams, either Team Aqua or Amber. Aqua, you're gonna find, is more of a calm type of individual, likes to relax, and is pretty laid back. In contrast with Amber, who's very hardworking, approachable, but can be somewhat of a nuisance at times. These two entities are like yin and yang, always in competition with each other. Now separate your group into two teams. To identify which team you are on, take tokens corresponding to your team's color. If you're on Team Aqua, you're going to be using Aqua Essence, and vice versa. Try to even out your group as best as you can. Example, 1 versus 1, 2 versus 2, or 3 versus 3. Now if this is not possible, refer to player count and teams in the rulebook. Now Essence tokens aren't just used to identify which team you're on. They'll be used by players to complete certain actions. Important to note that you may not use the opposing team's essence. Without essence, DreamWeavers would consume their own energy, therefore their very life source. As I mentioned before, dreams take place inside the mind of sleeping subjects, and the unconscious is represented by the dream pool. Your team's objective is to play cards into the dream pool in an attempt to control the dream. Once your team has control of it, your team will be able to claim the dream. In return, claiming the dream will give you stars. Stars are represented in two types, nightmares and paradise. These are gained according to the type of dreams players create. As you gain stars, your team's token on the scoreboard will move on the corresponding track according to the stars that you gain. Now remember, Morpheus wants DreamWeavers, so you need to show them that you have the ability to create both types of dreams. Your team's final score will be the lowest between the two types. Example, Team Amber finishes with 8 Paradise stars and 12 Nightmare stars. They lose to Team Aqua, who have an equal count of 10 Nightmare and Paradise stars, so their lowest count is 10. That's the objective of the game. Now how does the game reach its conclusion? Throughout the course of the game, you will draw cards from the deck of dreams. Within this deck, you will come upon sun cards. These cards move the game's progression forward. When 8 sun cards have been discarded on the dawn location of the scoreboard, the game ends. For the setup of the game in Tabletop Simulator, most of the steps will be done for you, so I'll skip to what you need to know to be able to play the game. First, you'll need to deal out 5 cards to each player. If your group is uneven, refer to the player count and teams in the rulebook. Second, when the cards have been dealt, remove the top 10 cards from the dream deck and place them on the side, and shuffle the sun cards into the dream deck according to your player count. 8 sun cards for a 2-player game and 10 sun cards for a 3-player plus. Then place back the 10 cards that you placed off to the side and put them on top of the dream deck. Lastly, hand each player the proper amount of essence. Anyone in the first half of starting players begins with 1 less essence than their limit. Example, player 1 and player 2 will have 2 essence, and player 3 and player 4 will have 3 essence. Here's the list of essence and card limit according to your team's player count and group size. If your player count is even, you have a hard hand limit of 5 cards and 3 essence. Since player 1 and player 2 are in the first half of starting players, they have -1 essence than their limit, therefore 2. Players in the second half have their essence limit, which is 3. Let's go into the gameplay and turn actions. Start with the first player proceeding clockwise. Remember, players from the same team cannot go one after the other consecutively. It's player 1's turn, and they have 5 cards and 2 essence. Now on your turn, you're going to have the choice of 4 different actions, but you only get to do 1. The primary action you'll be doing throughout the course of the game is playing a card. In DreamWeavers, we have 2 types of cards. We have Astral cards, such as Morpheus's Blessing. Astral cards can be identified by the icon in the bottom left corner of the card, which looks like a chain link. The other dream cards are Whimsical cards, which are more common. Let's go over the breakdown of what happens when you play a Whimsical card. First, place the card face up within the proper play area. The inner area in the dream pool is dedicated to a 2-player game. The outer area is for 3 players plus. So here we're a 4-player game, so we're going to be using the outer area. When placing the Whimsical card, make sure it's face up and it does not touch the border or any other card. You may place the card in any orientation that you want. Once a card is placed, it can no longer be moved. Once placed, follow the weave of the card from the top left corner going down. First, in the top left corner, there's the essence placement. This communicates to a player that this card costs 1 essence to be played, and the essence must be placed on the card. If you do not have an essence, you cannot play a Whimsical card. Once done, continue down along the weave. You might come upon a resolve icon, which are conditions that need to be met to resolve a card's ability. Surgery here has one. Let's go to our player reference and identify which resolve icon this is. Here we have the resolve icons. Okay, so this icon matches this one right here, which reads, players must have the listed dream type already in the dream pool to resolve the card's ability. So this resolve icon is found on surgery. In this case, we know my team does not have any other card in the dream pool, let alone a matching dream type to surgery. There's several reasons why you would want to play a card even if you can't resolve the card's ability, but I'll get back to that. Let's keep going down the weave. The next icon is the dream type, which is right next to the name. When you get to here, go to the subject card in play. In this case, we have dog meat. Remember, you're creating dreams inside the subject's unconsciousness. Dog meat right now is dreaming about going into surgery. This affects his dream preference. In the dream preference of the subject card, we have 2 rows. The row on top is for paradise dreams and the row on the bottom is for nightmare dreams. Match the dream type on surgery to the subject's dream preference. In this case, the icon is in the top row, meaning that surgery for dog meat is a paradise. This communicates to the player to move the tracker 1 space towards paradise. Anytime you're going to be moving the tracker according to the dream preference of the subject, you're always going to be moving the tracker 1 space unless indicated. To recap, we played our card within the play area, we consumed 1 essence by placing it on the card, we know we can't resolve the card's ability due to the conditions of the resolve icon, and we moved the tracker on the scale. This would end our turn. Also, note that surgery is a unique card. This means your team cannot have 2 surgery cards at the same time in the dream pool because it's unique. Now let's say I wanted to play an Astral card. Similar to Whimsical cards, Astral cards need to be placed face up and within the proper play area, in any orientation you want. The difference is, when you play an Astral card, you may not place it by itself, like so. It has to be linked to a Whimsical card belonging to your team. For example, let's say I'm on Team Aqua, and I'm playing Morpheus's Blessing. Well, my team already has Surgery in the dream pool indicated by the essence color on Surgery. Now I know Morpheus's Blessing is an Astral card because it has the link icon on the bottom left corner. Therefore, it needs to be linked to a Whimsical card belonging to my team. To link cards together, simply make sure that the cards are touching or overlapping. It's important that you do not cover the essence token already on the Whimsical card. You may place the card in any orientation you want. Now we linked the Astral card to the Whimsical card. Note, Whimsical cards cannot be linked to more than one Astral cards, and Astral cards cannot touch any other card than the one it is linked to. Once that step is completed, you will then go directly to resolving the card's ability. That is because Astral cards do not have essence placement because they do not cause an essence to be played. They also do not have any dream type, therefore they will not affect the dream preference of the subject. Okay, let's go ahead and resolve Morpheus's Blessing's ability. Add one of your essence to Morpheus. So in this case, you take one of your essence from your supply and you would place it on Morpheus if you have one. And Morpheus is found right here on the board. Once again, Morpheus is the god of dreams. I'll get back to what that does when we have an essence on Morpheus a bit later on. Now this would end your turn. Playing a card counts as your one action. To reiterate, the difference between Astral cards and Whimsical cards: Whimsical cards cost one essence to be played. They move the tracker on the scale of the main board according to the subject's dream preference. Astral cards do not cost an essence and they link to your team's Whimsical cards already in the dream pool. This covers the first action, play a card. The second action is the recharge action. You'll do the following options up to 4 times. Draw 1 card from the deck of dreams, discard 1 card from your hand, or gain 1 essence from the wishing well. Example, I could draw 2 cards and gain 2 essence from the wishing well. That would be a total of 4, and that would give me 3 essence and 5 cards. You may never go over your essence or card limit. If you have your card limit in your hand and wish to draw, you must first discard a card. Remember, you can only do a combination of the 3 options up to 4 times. That's it for the recharge action. The third action is completing an objective. Look on the main board under Morpheus to see what are the objectives in play. Here we have a storm is coming, a time and a place, and beyond expectations. Let's go with a time and a place. It reads, your team has 1 green, 1 blue, and 1 Astral card. The green one is reoccur dreams, which looks a bit like waves overlapping on the shore. And the blue one is fulfillment dreams, shaped somewhat like a circle, plus 1 Astral card. You need 1 of each of these dreams inside the dream pool to be able to pay the cost of 1 essence to be able to complete a time and a place. Example, Team Amber has Memories, which is a recur dream, Discovery, which is a fulfillment dream, and Deepest Desire, which is an astral dream. These are the requirements for a time and a place. A member from Team Amber begins their turn and has at least 1 essence. They pay the cost of 1 essence by placing it on the completed objectives. Teams can only complete 1 objective per dream. A new dream begins after a dream is claimed. This will all make sense once I go through the final action, and this concludes completing an objective. The fourth and the most important action is claim a dream. For the cost of 1 essence, if your team has 4 essence in the dream pool, you may claim the dream. Example, here we have a dream pool that has been filled up with dreams by players. You can identify which dream belongs to which team by the essence color on each card. To claim the dream, your team needs to have 4 essence in the dream pool, or 3 essence in the 2-player game. You also need to have at least 1 essence to pay the cost of the action. If we count the essence in the dream pool, Team Amber has 2 essence, while Team Aqua has 4. It's the turn of a member from Team Aqua. They have at least 1 essence, and they decide to take the action Claim the Dream, consuming their essence and returning it to the wishing well, after which they will follow the steps when claiming the dream found on the player aid. Step 1. Gain stars according to the subject's star reward and tracker. This means go to the subject currently in play, and you'll match the star reward of the subject to the scale of the board, which is broken down into 5 areas. You have Nightmare, Night Terror, Mundane, Wonderland, and Paradise. These names and colors will match the star reward on the subject. In this case, our tracker is inside the Mundane area. Let's take a closer look at our subject Dogmeat. If we look at the star reward of Dogmeat, you'll find in the Mundane area there's a star indicator with a number, which means gain 1 star. But the star icon is neither Nightmare or Paradise. That's because a Mundane star is of a player's choice. Therefore, the team who claims the dream get to choose how to utilize the star they gained. Team Aqua decides to gain 1 Paradise star. They now move their token on the scoreboard 1 space down. Step 2. Look to see if any card ability resolves in the dream pool. This means look at all the dream cards currently in play and look for this resolve icon. This resolve icon means the card's ability resolves when the dream is claimed. Once again, resolve icons are found on the weave of each card. Currently, no cards in the dream pool have this icon, so we skip step number 2. Step 3. The team with the most essence on Morpheus gains 1 Mundane star. Now we're going to go back to the essence we placed earlier on Morpheus. Team Aqua are the only team with an essence on Morpheus. Therefore, they gain 1 Mundane star. If both teams had an essence on Morpheus, no one gains that extra star, as only the team with the most essence on Morpheus gains that 1 star. So Team Aqua decides to gain 1 Nightmare star. Step 4. Teams discard any completed objectives and gain stars. The objective earlier completed by Team Amber, a time and a place, gets discarded. The essence on the card is returned to the wishing well, and Team Amber gains the reward listed on the objective. Here it indicates 2 Nightmare stars. You then replace the completed objectives with new objectives. Step 5. Discard all essence and dream cards from the dream pool and Morpheus. So let's get rid of the essence on Morpheus by returning it to the wishing well, and then clean up all the dream pool area. All essence are returned to the wishing well, and all dream cards are sent to the discard pile. Step 6. Reset the tracker to Mundane. So let's go to the scale, take the tracker, and place it in the middle of the Mundane area. Perfect, that's done. I'm gonna get back to the second part of step 6 in just a moment. Step 7. Add a wake token to the sleep cycle. The wake tokens can be found on the scoreboard. Take one and place it beneath the subject on an empty rock starting from the furthest to the left. These bedrocks are the representation of the subject's sleep cycle.
The sleep cycle measures how awake a subject is. The more wake tokens, these tokens right here, are added to the sleep cycle, the closer a subject is to awakening. It takes 3 wake tokens to awaken a subject, unless the subject is a light or heavy sleeper indicated under their perks. Light sleepers take 2 wake tokens to awaken, in contrast with heavy sleepers, which take 4. You will not be using the same subjects all game long. As subjects awaken, they're going to get discarded and new subjects will come into play. Now let's go back to our subject Dogmeat
and talk a bit more about the card. We already discussed the dream preference and how that affects the scale of the dream. Below the dream preference, we have perks. These are abilities that remain in play as long as a subject is on the board. For Dogmeat, his perk is he's a light sleeper. That means the moment a second wake token is added to his sleeping cycle, Dogmeat here wakes up. Example, let's say a second wake token was added and Dogmeat wakes up. What do you do? First thing, remove the subject from the board, so discard the subject. Second, the team that awakened the subject takes one essence from the wishing well and adds it to Morpheus. Example, Team Amber awaken the subject and take one amber essence from the wishing well and place it on Morpheus. The reason for this is Morpheus is astounded that you were able to wake up the subject with your dreams. Third, return all wake tokens that are on the sleeping cycle and return them to the scoreboard. Then draw a new subject and then the next player begins their turn. That's it for the wake tokens and the sleep cycle. The last thing to touch base on the subject card is the Lucid. These occur when the subjects take control of the dream momentarily. And how does this happen, you ask? It's simple. As you draw cards from the deck of dream, you will come upon sun cards. A little note on sun cards, they do not count as dream cards. Whenever you draw one of these sun cards, before you do anything, complete the draw action as they do not count as a dream card. If you draw multiple sun cards, same thing happens. Put them on the side and complete your draw action. Once you completed your draw action, take all sun cards drawn and place them on the dawn location of the scoreboard. The moment there's 8 sun cards on this location, the game ends immediately. If not, follow the instructions, which simply say move the Lucid token to the subject and activate the Lucid. Now we can take the Lucid token from the scoreboard and move it onto the subject card. Then we follow the instructions under Lucid. Now, if the Lucid token is already on the subject and you draw a sun card, well, you can't move this Lucid token onto the subject because, well, it's already there. So in that scenario, you will not activate the Lucid. Same thing if you draw multiple sun cards, you will only activate the Lucid Dream once. The Lucid returns to the scoreboard under 2 events. One, if the subject awakens, the Lucid token is returned to the scoreboard, or when someone claims the dream. The Lucid is also returned to the scoreboard in that scenario. That brings us back to step 6 when claiming a dream. So step 6, when claiming a dream, if the Lucid token is on the subject, you will return the Lucid token to the scoreboard. The last rule, which you might not encounter during your first playthrough, is the force of hand. Morpheus doesn't like long-lasting dreams. He likes dynamic, memorable dreams. If he sees it's taking forever for someone to claim a dream, he will force a player's hand. This happens when a play area is full. Here we have, for example, a dream pool with not much space left. First, let's make sure we can't play a card. What we do is we use the area card. This card here is used to measure whether or not a card can be played. Place the area card within the place where you would think you can play a card. If the area card touches any other card or the border, you are out and cannot play a card. If you are safe, you may play any card you want. If you're uncertain if the area card is safe or out, it is out. There's no arguing in the Dream Realm. Example, it's a member from Team Aqua's turn, and they have tried to find a space for the area card, but they are out. They have at least 1 essence. Even if their team does not have 4 essence in the dream pool, they're forced to take the action Claim a Dream. If they did not have at least 1 essence, they are forced to take the recharge action. Then it goes to the next player. And the next player would then, if they have at least 1 essence, they'd be forced to claim the dream, and so on. That's an overall how to play DreamWeavers. If you have any specific questions about cards or rules, please reach out to us. There's also the rulebook with an appendix. Any comments or first impression, don't be shy. Now, if this is your first time playing, take the time and look over the player aid. They will guide you through your first time playthrough. As well as player aids identify which team you are on. That's going to be it for me. I want to thank you all for watching, and hopefully you're going to be trying out DreamWeavers and sending us your feedback to one of our social medias. So thank you all and dream big.